A couple of weeks ago, I did a huge mistake with the team. It was pretty unpleasant, but unfortunately, the whole thing transformed into something great. We were trading on a high-risk account. We wanted to flip it because we're kind of doing this once in a while. We like to flip accounts. We like to go high risk from time to time. But this time when Easter was around the corner, we forgot the fact that the market closes on Friday instead of closing on Saturday for gold. So we had two huge positions opened. The trade was in profit, but unfortunately we weren't sure about how the market will open on Monday. It could have opened with a gap. It could have opened in a weird way, because anytime the market does something weird like closing one day in advance or whatsoever, you can't really expect something good to happen. However, this proved to be the best trade of the whole year of 2025 for us, and we posted about it. We made a reel about it, and initially it was great. Everyone was happy for us. For the reference, we made a profit of 1,400% in a couple of days, which is huge, I know. Out of a 2K account, we made 30K profit, which attracted a lot of bad comments as well, and I totally understand it. It's a huge amount to be made out of a 2K account. 30K doesn't come out of nowhere. There are a lot of scams in the Forex niche, and because we had this euphoria in us and because we were so happy about it, we simply posted about it. We forgot that this reel can end up in somebody's feed, somebody that doesn't know what we're doing, the fact that we had this community for a while, the fact that we show our faces, we show truly who we are and what we're doing in trading. So I guess that after a while, I realized that I need to do a comprehensive video about it, explaining you my strategy, explaining you exactly how we took this trade, what was the strategy behind this high risk, how we flip accounts, because it's not the first time when we're doing a huge amount of profit out of a small account, and of course the proof. In many forms. I realized that in this community, in this Forex space, you need a lot of proof. You need a proof of withdrawal, of a live account, of a regulated broker. You need to show your P&L and so on. So today I want to show everything in order for you guys to understand exactly what we did in order to achieve this huge amount, which is 30K. And before jumping directly into the video, I want to mention some things. I do not believe that you can make fast profits with Forex trading. I do not believe that Forex is a get-rich-quick scheme. I do not believe that. And trust me, the whole team has a lot of experience in trading in general. We have traders with 7 years of experience in the market. I personally have 5, almost 6 years experience in the market, and so on. So this is not overnight. What we're doing is not overnight. We've been through a lot in order to achieve this kind of profit and in order to have this high risk tolerance that we're having today. There are some explanations behind those trades that we take, and we really wish that we won't be considered a scam community or a scam academy just because we made such profits that look unbelievable. Because yeah, I've seen a lot of reels with accounts that have millions, trillions inside, you know, like some numbers that do not add up. But today I want to prove that what we're doing is real, that we are honest with our community, and we are not one of those people that claim unrealistic profits or edit their results or do anything sketchy. And besides that, we want to remind you that our community is free of charge entirely. So do not expect us to sell courses, to sell mentorships, to sell signals, and so on. Everything that we're doing is for free. We can support our community simply by making some affiliation deals here and there, and this is more than enough for us as a community to keep going. And before jumping into all of that, I always consider that you need a bit of luck in life. I do consider that in trading, sometimes you get lucky. It doesn't mean that this type of luck comes for granted, because, for example, in order to get lucky in trading, you have to do something about it, okay? We've been on charts for years. We've been watching gold's movements for a long time, especially in this period when we know that it's the best time to do seasonal trading on gold, when gold is continuously rising up and we're tracking the fundamentals. Of course, we're looking for entries for a buy opportunity because we're tracking the fundamentals, we're watching the technical analysis, and of course, Forex is not an exact science. You can't say that it mathematically makes sense all of the time. We are more participants in the market when a part of us are winning, the other part is losing. That's how it goes. You cannot say that you predict the market. This is not possible. It will never be, okay? But in the same time, this luck comes with the fact that you were there, you took action, you were focused on it, and you let it come to you, okay? So in order for us to make 30k in profits out of a 2k account, we were there, we focused on it, we searched for the right entries and so on. You gotta do what you gotta do in order to make this kind of profit. Okay, so here comes the trade and the first proof of the fact that the account is live, is on a regulated broker. We want to show you exactly the positions that we took, what was exactly the price of those trades and so on. So let me scroll a little bit and find back the trades. It was a 2k account we just deposited when we traded, so let me check. It was on 17th of April. You can see the balance and you can see two huge trades that we took, and I kindly asked my editor to just put somewhere video in which I show that this is a real account, that the trades are running and so on, without any cut, so you can see that it's not edited or anything. Just leave the whole video as it is, please. And besides that, I want to show you the exact date in which we took those two transactions, because we had more trades, like one on an index. We had this huge transaction that generated 15k in profit. We had another transaction that generated $200 in profit, and we had a sales stop that didn't work. We had another buy, and that's it. The last buy was 13k in profit. So this was it. Okay, I hope that you can see. Right. So the first buy that generated us a great profit was one lot on a 2k account. Yes, this is huge. We are going to discuss about our strategy a little bit later. However, it was on 17 April and it was at 3319.54. So somewhere around here, right? Somewhere around here. Then the next one that generated us $13,485.60 to be exact was the next one, which was from 3320.00. So somewhere around here, right around this area. Well, initially we had a take profit exactly at the top at 3,500. Unfortunately, because of the spread, it happens to all of us, right? We had to close the transaction manually. We kind of expected it to go a little bit above. We wanted to wait for it to come back, but obviously if the price stops around the psychological number like 3,500, there are rare chances in which it will come back to this area. So unfortunately, we had to stop the trade manually, and it was somewhere around 3,469.84. Both of them were closed at this specific price point. So yeah, I hope that you saw the fact that it's real, but we're going to show you our P&L for the whole account so you can see more. But before that, I want to show you the outlook of this trade, the breakdown of how we thought of this specific trade. Okay, so what was the whole idea behind those two trades that generated us 30k after all? What was the explanation? What was the situation back then when we took those trades? First of all, I want to mention the fact that everything was posted inside our groups on Instagram. Like when gold made these moves, we were always active on our channels and updating our members about the whole situation on the higher time frames. First of all, what we noticed was the fact that on daily, those candles were way wider than the rest, which means that the movements were way stronger. Gold really had a bullish momentum compared to this situation over here, right? When a candle was having such small movements. Do not compare this kind of movements from January and so on to the situation here, in which the movements are huge, right? The momentum is clearly bullish. Second, we looked at the fundamentals multiple times. We saw what other institutions were saying. Oh, we saw that they expected gold to go around 3,400, 3,500 when we were checking the price, when we were doing our analysis. And of course, we followed that as well. The institutions wanted that, we went with the trend, which was bullish. Second, we consider the break of structure on higher time frames some kind of entry point for us. But here, what happened, it was that we saw this huge one on 4 hours that was finally mitigated right now. But we also usually go for the 1 hour break of structure. And this is what happened here, right? We traced the break of structure here for 1 hour. We traced it here, like literally for each break of structure, we are just following it. Those are a little bit of, the momentum is stronger than the rest, but usually if you go to the back, if you go and check exactly what's happening to gold, if you trace the 1 hour break of structure, you will see some kind of movements from there, right? You catch some pips, and this is what we do usually. But here, the situation was a little bit different, so we adapted to it, meaning that on 1 hour, this was the last break of structure to the upside, which was very low right? Compared to the movement. We couldn't expect the price to go necessarily back somewhere around here in this area because the bullish leg was way longer than before. So what we did was to search for liquidity. First of all, we didn't expect gold to come back to this area because of course it had so much bullish momentum that it wouldn't necessarily go here. It didn't need to. So if you go on 15 minutes, you can observe the liquidity which was taken. There was liquidity over here, right, in these lows, and then this area below. And we saw a nice wick formed here inside this demand area. We also used premium and discount areas as well as a confirmation. And after all, because this wasn't enough, we were looking first of all for the session. We checked for the trade to be in New York because usually this is when big movements are happening. And I remember that we were with the whole group, right, with the golden members group, and we told them the fact that we are waiting for a change of character here on 5 minutes in order to take an entry from this area. After gold took this liquidity, we were waiting here. So the price was somewhere around here, right? And our members were asking for an entry, and I remember exactly that I said that we're waiting for a change of character on 5 minutes before entering. And this is exactly what we did. We entered right immediately after this change of character over here. We took 2 entries, exactly where I showed you, right, on the phone. You had exactly the entries. So of course this was the first target, right, the liquidity over here. But what happened next was the fact that the market closed without us noticing, right? It was such a fail for us. The price was somewhere around here and the market closed on Thursday, right? There was no movement on Friday, and we really regretted that. We were like, oh my God, we're going to be liquidated because the risk is so high. Of course, we are high risk. And in these situations in which you do not really know what the market is doing, you know, because there was one day missing in the market, which is not common, we were a little bit like sad about the whole situation. Like, how can we forget? How can we not notice such an important thing? However, that's when our luck came. So this is how Asia opened. It went straight bullish. It didn't tap back into our entries or lower. It didn't take our stop loss or anything, and it just continued bullish. And at this point, we were like, okay, we have trust in our analysis. We check the fundamentals as well. We do not really care to take a lot of partials right now because this account was made for seasonal trading, high risk, right? So we're just gonna wait until 3,400, 3,500 in order to take profit. So the trade arrives, our position arrives somewhere around 3,500. We had spread, we couldn't take the take profit. Then the market dumped, the price dumped a little bit, so it took our stop loss, which was around this area. So this was our trade idea. So as you can see, it wasn't an overnight thing. We were studying this. We were searching for a good entry based on the higher time frames. We wanted to take part in this move and to take advantage of this. We took other trades here, so we took advantage of those moves as well. But this was by far the most successful move that we caught on gold, and this was the strategy. And continue to watch this video further because I'm going to explain you the whole thing about our strategy, the high risk strategy, and also I'm going to show you the whole P&L of this trading account, this specific trading account. Okay, so what's up with this whole strategy? How come we trade high risk and how come we're still profitable? What exactly are we doing and how can it make sense, right? Because from the outside, it looks suspicious, right? It looks extremely suspicious. So I have 4 things to point now. And the first thing is that my beliefs are kind of different and I really hope that your beliefs are the same. I strongly believe that you need experience in trading to do this kind of movements, meaning to flip accounts, meaning that you somehow studied the market before, you studied what happened with the price for a long time, so you kind of know what to expect in the future. This is one. But second, what I do believe is that nowadays people tend to overcomplicate the theory part of trading. And why is that? It's because somebody needs to sell some courses, right? Nobody would buy a course if the technical analysis will be the same all of the time, right? So people tend to overcomplicate things. They tend to sound more intellectual, to try to attract new customers with a new holy grail, with a new theory, with the new something, right? I feel like this is complete BS. I'm sorry to tell you that, but I believe that experience will forever beat that. Trading is not made to be complicated, and if it was about the amount of knowledge that you have, by the amount of books that you read about trading, by the amount of information that you got, Well, I guess that the intellectuals would be the ones that are profitable. But guess what? In the real world, a person with a simple strategy, simple technical analysis, watching the fundamentals regularly, having a great psychology, a person like that is the one that is actually profitable, not the ones that overthink too much. Because in the moment in which you know too much information, too much concepts, you bought too much courses, at one point you will doubt yourself. So do not go there, okay? This is what I believe, and the course sellers will completely disagree with me, or the course buyers that were indoctrinated with those facts, because they want to believe that overcomplicating things, you will eventually end up being profitable. But you're just in a spiral, okay? Because you're just learning over and over again, and then something new will happen. You will buy a new course and a new one and a new one, and you will trust your mentor more. But sometimes those mentors are scams, unfortunately, and they want to prolong the torture of learning trading for you, just because you need to pay more and more and more and so on. So yeah, this is the first thing, right? Trading doesn't need to be that complicated, and you don't need to be the most intelligent person, unfortunately, to obtain profits. It's not about that. It's about your mentality, your psychology, most of the time. Okay, so focus on what matters the most and look inside of you. Are you great at psychology? What do you feel when you're trading? Make a plan, okay? Make a plan for yourself. Second, this is not an universal advice, but if you're a scalper especially, it will be good for you to trade around 2 to 3 pairs. Do not overcomplicate things. You need to observe the movements of the market. You cannot observe the movements of the market of 100 pairs, of 10, 15 pairs. That's too much. It's better for you to know what happens to one pair and to observe it and to master it instead of trying to master the whole market. Try to be good at one thing. Try to be the master at one pair. For example, right now at FXA, we're only trading gold. We're focusing mainly on gold. From time to time, we add some Forex pairs as well, like 2 maximum, but no more than that. 3, as a scalper, it's really important to follow the fundamentals. I do not believe that you can mainly trade only using technicals, okay? I believe that technicals are extremely good when it comes to having an exact entry, to have a good entry point so that your risk reward is better, or I don't know, you have more chances for the trade to go well and for you to make more money. But if you do not follow the fundamentals, you will be left behind, and many times your stop loss will get hit and you won't even know why, because you didn't follow the news, you didn't follow what the institutions are saying. Simply check Forex Factory. Simply ask ChatGPT, like, what fundamentals should I look over for the following week on this instrument? It's that simple nowadays. Just keep an eye on them, right? For example, in this situation with gold, we consider the overall information that we got from fundamentals. Okay, we wanted to catch that bullish move that was predicted from the fundamentals, but in order to catch a good entry, we use the technicals on lower time frame. So combine them. It's a synergy. You can't just avoid one of them. Okay, and 4. So maybe you understood the mindset behind our trades, but what's up with this high risk, with this lot size that we're using? What's up with the flipping? Because it sounds risky, it looks risky, it looks like gambling, I assume, because nobody really explains the way that we trade. I didn't really see it a lot on social media, right? So when you enter my page, for example, on Instagram, especially when there are reels, like 30-second videos, you can't understand much. It's just a small account size, like 1K, 2K capital, with an enormous lot size, which makes no sense. But what if I tell you that this is not my only account that I'm trading with, and in fact, my capital is larger, and I actually tend to split this capital into multiple smaller accounts that I try to flip. Why is that? It has a lot of benefits, and the whole team likes to trade in this way. So for example, if I'm risking 1K on this account and I'm going high risk on it, full margin or whatsoever, in fact, I'm just risking, let's say, 10% of my entire capital that I allocated for that specific month. So if you see an account with 1K capital in it, it means that I have 9K more for that specific month to trade with. So in case that this account fails and I lose it, I can open another one and another one and another one. I can open many accounts in that specific month. And why is that? Is because I didn't use my whole capital for that single account. But there are some benefits to it. Psychologically, you feel better. For example, if you would lose a 1K account and you try to trade from tomorrow or in 2 days or the next week, you will feel like it's a fresh start. Second, if you would have the whole capital in one single account, this means no flipping, first of all. Sometimes I tend to remove my stop loss because the market is volatile. You can't know the exact spot in which the market will give a reaction. I can remove the stop loss if I only have 10% of my capital allocated in one account, right? Like, it's more versatile. And also, mistakes can happen, right? What if this Easter, instead of my account going well, right, and making 30K, the price would go down because of that Friday gap in which we didn't know that the markets were closed. And it will wipe off our whole account that maybe didn't have stop loss or whatsoever. We will lose the entire capital that we had. But in this way, we made a mistake and it didn't cost us anything. It would maximum cost us 2K, the initial capital that we allocated, right? So it's smart in this way. Like, you do not need to worry that much if you trade in this way. And I don't know, it's a challenge. The whole idea is that our win rate is kind of high. And when I'm talking about win rate, I'm talking about the fact that we usually do not lose a lot of these accounts in order to generate profit. We lose maximum, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 accounts in order to generate nice profits. And it's not one after another. Let's say that I lose one account, then I flip the next one and it has great profit. Then I will lose like 1, 2 more accounts of 1K, but the profit that I generated on the other account covers that losses and I have even more profit, right? On top of that. Then I will open an account again. This is seasonal trading on different accounts, and overall, in that specific month, maybe I get to trade like 50% of the accounts that I allocated. So I would risk like 50% of my entire capital instead of risking 100% of it. Or I don't know, I went 20-30% in drawdown in order to generate huge amount of profit. Let's get further, and I want to show you the withdrawal and more things about my account, the P&L and so on. Alright, so before going to the P&L of this month for this specific account, let me show you basically the withdrawal that we had with Multibank. Like, this is the email confirmation, this is the arrival inside our crypto wallet. If you need more details about that, if you're more curious, if you want more, I don't know, more proof, because I'm pretty sure that somebody will come and say, oh no, it's fake, or I don't know, this is not real. Anything that you have in mind, you can always ask us in the comments or in private, and we can always come and clarify that. As long as you accept the fact that our conversation will be posted publicly, for everyone to understand that what we're doing is clear, is legit, and we will never alter our results in any way. What I wanted to mention here is that we are trading with Multibank. We have multiple broker collaborations for our community. However, all of them are regulated, were in the market for a long period of time. For example, Multibank, which I like the most, has been in the market for almost 20 years now. They are regulated, they have multiple licenses. The leverage is 1 to 500, which is great. And what I like the most about them is the customer support as well. It's the fact that they are paying a lot of attention to our needs, to our wants. For example, if we're curious about something, they will always be there to like answer instantly about our problem. There was absolutely no one, no member in the group that ever complained about Multibank in a way in which they were like, oh, I didn't get my withdrawal. It never happened. And it's also about this flipping strategy that we have. Imagine how many brokers will accept withdrawals for such high risk extreme trading. They will at least ask some questions, or I don't know, they will delay the withdrawal. But guess what? Anytime we made withdrawals, anytime we asked for our profit, in less than 24 hours, it arrived in our account, which I believe is the best thing that can ever happen when trading with a broker, to see that they are fast and that you can get your money out extremely fast, right? We are withdrawing through crypto most of the times, but I have nothing to complain about this. So if you need a good broker, the link is in the description box. 1 to 500 leverage, that's it. And now, let's be completely transparent, guys, right? This was our trading account, and keep in mind that from time to time, we deposit, we withdraw from it, because as I said, we trade with a lower amount and try to flip it. Right? So sometimes it goes great, sometimes it doesn't. So as you can see, some days are in profit, some days are simply in losses. Don't get scared about that 5K. It happens, okay, for us, especially because we're trading high risk. And when it comes to the number of trades, even if you see here 65 trades or 35 trades, that's not over trading. Don't imagine that we found 65 trade ideas. It's just layering. Layering is an entry strategy in which you split your entry point into multiple smaller entries. So for example, if you want to risk 1% of your account, or this is just for the sake of the example, instead of risking 1% for that specific trade, you are going to risk 0.25% on 4 entries. So added up, that would be 1% risk per trade. Why is that? It's because in this way you get to better entry points and you can close your partials faster. It's a really good entry strategy, and if you want to learn more about it, I left a video in the description box. And now, as you can see here, sometimes we leave a part of the profit inside the account to trade with. Like here, even though we had 30k profit, we traded with the last 2k, and probably, I guess, we lost it or something like that in the same day. However, the whole idea is the fact that this is high risk, right? But in the same time, you can follow what we're doing in your own way. You don't have to go high risk like us. You can have your own risk tolerance when trading with us. And let me explain you more about our community and the fact that it's free of charge and what we're offering to you. Alright, so when it comes to our online activity, our community, we have 2 big groups. The first group is the FXA Academy, the worldwide group that you will find in the description box, and you can enter it automatically, right? You can catch up with what we're doing. We are sending here, if you tap on the pinned message, we are sending here around 5 trade ideas per week on gold, right? And those can be accessible to anyone. You can catch them at any moment, at any time, and you also have a guide on how to trade like us, right? If you want to layer, we have a full explanation about our trades. However, if you are a beginner and you want to start from zero, just read this guide. It's a guide for beginners. It's a PDF form, and also inside you will find a free video course in which we explain everything that you need in order to start trading. Okay. We realized that in order to separate beginners from intermediates and advanced, we need to open a secondary group, which is premium. It's another free group, but it's exclusive, right? Not anyone can enter that group. Only traders that trade on a live account can actually enter that group. No prop firms, no other ways of trading. You need to trade on a live brokerage account. If you trade with a live broker, then you have access to our group. A group in which you will receive daily signals on gold, around 5 to 10 scalp ideas, right? It's a compounding strategy, is made in a really nice way, and you will have a guide for it, of course. Besides those signals, you are going to have access to an intermediate course and a mentorship, very well-made courses that are going to help you a lot in your trading journey. We believe that signals are not enough and will never be enough in order for you to become profitable and trade on your own. So do not depend only on signals. If you want to learn, we have free courses for you. And besides that, because you need support from us, of course, we have one-to-one calls with you. So if we observe that if you're really focused on trading, if you really want to learn, if you really want to make profits, and you want to make money overall, we are going to have calls with you. We are going to talk with you in private and so on. We are going to support you entirely. At the moment, we have 816 members inside the FXA Premium community. That's why the spots are limited weekly. So in order to enter Premium, you just have to follow the steps in the description, or simply you go to the worldwide group, tap on the pinned message, and simply write a message to FXA Trading Bot, which is our customer support username. Just write the word join, and our customer support will answer you. And in case that we still have free spots for that week, we are going to help you join our group, or simply we are going to put you on a waiting list. Again, I want to mention the fact that all of our activities free of charge. We have partnerships, collaborations with different trading products, in which way our activity is 100% for free. We do not charge you in any way, and we are not interested in taking your funds. Thank you for watching. I hope that this video helped you and explained everything that needed to be explained. If you have more curiosities, just don't hesitate to leave them in the comments, and see you next time.